Hey guys, No Nonsense Know-How here today with another product review. This one's going to be on the ROCKPALS 500 watt portable power station. It's the ROCKPower 500, and this is basically known as a solar generator because it's a battery backup, but you can charge it 4 ways: from a solar panel, from your carport 12 volts, from an AC outlet, or even from the Type-C USB. Now they do make much larger capacity units, but what I like about this one is it's only 12.3 pounds. So let's open this up and see how she looks. Awesome job packaging, super basic. It's wrapped in plastic in case it rains. Your box gets soaking wet, and wow, this thing is feather light, only 12 pounds. I can lift that with my pinky, no problem. So right here we got some cables, and that's everything in the box. My first impressions is this seems like a very solid build. Light enough to throw around. Look at that, ROCKPALS. On the bottom we got rubber feet that have plastic you can take off to expose the grip. This is the LED screen. Boom. And let's just power it up and see what it's at. So I assume you have to hold the power button. Okay, there it goes. So you got to hold that for about 3 to 5 seconds, and we see out of the box we're at 66%. With the rest of those pads off there, this thing is super grippy. Look at that. I can't even push it. Hey, let's see what's in the bag. It comes with your instructions, a wall charging block, and then the 12 volt for charging this in your car. So let's talk about a few specs. The capacity is 504 watt hours. The size, 12 inches long, 9 inches high by 6.1 inches deep. For your outputs, you have dual 120 volt outlets, and these are, of course, 500 watts total combined. You got dual USBs, 5 volts at 3.1 amps, and then a USB 3.0, maximum 18 watts. And then you have the USB-C, maximum 45 watts. You also have your cigarette lighter type plug, 12 volts DC, and then these two 12 volt DC for plugging any of your barrel types in there. To charge this, you can use the wall charger, input DC right here, and they advertise 7 to 8 hours for that. You can get the ROCKPALS solar panel. They also DC input, and they advertise 4 to 7 hours, or you can use your car charger, and as you're driving, just leave this plugged in, which they say also takes 7 to 8 hours. So again, to power this up, you hold the power button 3 seconds, and then to turn your outlets on, these don't always have power, so you have to hit one press on the DC, that'll turn green. Those are powered now. USB, same thing, one press. And then the AC, you actually have to long press this for 3 seconds. And then now that's green and on. So I'm gonna go get this charged up, and then we'll try it out. I'm gonna start by hooking up to the USB-C with just a regular little Samsung block. This is 5 volts, 2 amps. And that's charging. I really like how it shows the wattage input. So we're only pushing 4 watts in, but let's give this an hour and see what happens. 1 hour later, and we're up to 68%. I'm gonna plug this into a fast charge now. This USB-C block can do 11 volts at 2.25 amps. Let's see what that charges. And we're doing 24 watts now, so let's give that an hour. 1 hour later, holding a steady 24 watts, charging 72%. Let's plug this into the wall now. The block outputs 24 volts at 3 amps, so that should be like, what, 72 volt or 72 watts charging. And we got 67 watts, so we'll check back in an hour, see how fast that goes up. Another hour later, still at 68 watts, up to 84%, so that's charging a lot quicker. You can hear the fan has kicked on, but it's not blowing hot or anything. So I'm actually gonna unplug this for now, and then we're gonna plug this in my truck driving later. Now keep in mind, when you get up to 70%, it's gonna charge slower than from like 0% to 70%. But I'm just trying to give you an idea of what you might expect with these charging options. All right, I'm idling in my truck and I've plugged in the 12 volt. Let's see what we got. We're charging 49 watts, so that's pretty respectable. Let's see if we bring the RPM up. Let the alternator do some charging. If it changes, yes, you see the wattage is, well, it went up to 50 there for a second. So when you're cruising down the road, this might bump up over time. Let's see what happens if I plug this USB-C into it. We're at 50 watts right now. Oh no, it actually lowered it. Oh, no, oh yeah, there you go. So 78 watts at idle. Let's unplug this one. And so yeah, I guess if you want to try to pull more out of your outlet, that USB-C is pushing another 14 watts. You can do dual charging. Look at that. All right, 79 watts. Well, she's charged up to 100%, so we're going to do a few power tests now. I'm going to turn the AC on and plug it in a circular saw that's rated at 9 amps. So what's that? It's like 1,000 watts or so at 120 volts. So that's a little bit over, but let's see what happens. All right, it doesn't power the saw. It just went into a flashing mode here, and the AC went red. So instead, we'll use these metal shears that are rated at 4 amps. Here's your wattage output. So we got a progressive trigger on here too. It goes for both. That was 447 watts peak there, and then it went down about 273. Let's go ahead and cut this piece of steel. Yeah, no problem. So your starting amperage, you can see it goes 556 watts starting, and then it goes back down. Now those are variable loads, so we could put something that's just a resistive load, this heat gun, and that'll be steady amperage pull. Let's see what this does on. There's low, 3. Wow, that was 700 watts there just on low. This is a really heavy-duty heat gun. And you can see that popped the breaker again on that. So you can't pull over 500 watts. This isn't meant for that kind of thing. Let's try using this for something a little bit more realistic. I got 2 electric skateboards here that have both been run down to 0 batteries. The total combined watt hours of these batteries are 576 watt hours. And we're at 99%, and this is only 505 watt hours. So technically, this shouldn't be able to charge these both to 100%. But let's fire it up and see what happens. We'll see how many amps it pulls, or watts, I mean. Oh, fan kicked on. And wow, I'm actually surprised the fan kicked on that time, because I didn't hear it going on before. But yeah, well, I'm gonna let that go to town and see what it can do here. You see the Mepos over at 1%. Well, they're both Mepos, and their later V4 model doesn't show a percentage on there. But yeah, I'll let that go to town and see what happens. It should theoretically, well, we'll definitely end up draining this down to nothing, I'm sure. Holding pretty steady at 148 watts. We're a couple hours later, and this thing's still kicking. It's down to 22%, pushing 187 watts. The 3 amp charger from the Mepo 2 is pretty darn hot, and we're up to 99%. So this is pulling the bulk of the charge, because this is 1 amp, and this one's 3 or 2 amps? Yeah, 3 amps. So we're pulling a total of 4 amps. And 20 minutes later, I just heard the fan shut off. Battery's flashing 0. It says 10%. And these aren't charging anymore. So let's see what the V4 got up to. Should show 5 bars. 2 of the bars are out on here. Yeah, so that's not fully charged. And the Mepo is probably dropped a little bit, I'm sure. Well, they're both. That's down to 97%. So just about fully charged this one, and I guess close to it on that. It worked, and this would be a great thing to carry with me if we were going skateboarding far and taking a long break and I had to recharge them. This isn't hot at all. It wasn't blowing hot. And now I'll charge this back up. We could do some more testing. We are a week later now, and I'm going to have to go ahead and give this a big 5 stars thumbs up, because I've been using it a bunch, mostly charging my devices and then using a big LED tripod light for filming at night. But the battery life has been phenomenal for doing those types of things. You're not going to build a house with this, but if you need a lightweight auxiliary backup battery to bring with you, it's certainly the way to go. And it's got 9 different outlets for charging on it. I haven't used the solar yet, but of course on a day like this you wouldn't really be getting much solar anyway. It's a little gloomy and cloudy today. Time will tell how it holds up overall, but I'll make sure to drop comments down below to update you guys if anything does happen to it. For now, this is going to be a great little tool to add to my arsenal, especially handy going out on job sites and having some backup power. So again, big 5-star review on the ROCKPALS, and that wraps up this video. Hopefully it helped you decide whether this unit's for you, and I hope to see you in another video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching.